Hey guys, this is WWE Superstar Charlotte Flair, and you're listening to WellsMania Podcast. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 8 of WellsMania Podcast on YouTube. I am your host, the Kyle Wells. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at WellsMania. Like me on Facebook at WellsMania. I do it for the gram at WellsMania. And while you're here, right here on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of the WellsMania podcast, because you're now in tune to the most underrated wrestling podcast in the world. Thank you all so much for running wild with me right here on episode 8 of WellsMania Podcast on YouTube. And this is take 2. And if you do follow me on Twitter, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because I already recorded episode 8, uploaded it to YouTube, and all of a sudden, I got blocked worldwide. Yeah, true story. True story. So I wanted to do something special for episode 8, because there's an iconic band, an iconic singer coming to Indianapolis next week. I'm talking about Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks. They will be rocking Bankers Life Fieldhouse October 16th, next Tuesday. Buy your tickets now on Ticketmaster.com. I'm not sponsored. Not sponsored, by the way. I'm doing this because I love Stevie Nicks, and I'm addicted to American Horror Story, thanks to the lovely Ashley Jackson. How you doing? She introduced me to American Horror Story, and I just finished season 3, Coven, and guess who was in that season? That's right, you guessed it, Stevie Nicks. She made a couple cameo appearances, and on the very last episode of that season, 7 Wonders. What a beautiful song. I've been listening to that song nonstop. So what I had planned originally for episode 8 of WellsMania Podcast on YouTube was I was going to bump in with 7 Wonders, but YouTube shut that down and blocked it worldwide, so it did not go out there. So here I am again. Take 2. Just imagine me singing, "If I live to see the 7 Wonders, I'll make a path to the rainbow's end. I'll never live to match the beauty again. The rainbow's end." Maybe that's why YouTube blocked it worldwide, was because I can't sing worldwide. So I just wanted to give Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac the rub. I wanted to put them over, not like they need it, but still. Any publicity is good publicity, right? And I'm giving you a free plug. So October 16th, Fleetwood Mac rocks Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Go see Stevie Nicks and enjoy what is going to be a awesome, awesome concert. Now, I do have a tie-in, because we always try our best to come full circle here on the WellsMania Podcast on YouTube. I was at Bankers Life Fieldhouse earlier this week. I was in attendance for SmackDown Live, and I had a blast. But earlier in the day, I had an awesome opportunity to sit down with WWE Superstar Samoa Joe live on Tony Katz in the Morning News, 93 WIBC. Tony Katz gave me a segment. So shout out to Tony Katz for allowing me to come on his show, sit down, and have a conversation with Samoa Joe. And if you missed that conversation, you're in luck, because here is an encore presentation of my conversation with Samoa Joe.
That's Samoa Joe, and you were not kidding, the Kyle Wells. That is not a small man in any way, shape, or form. Now, as we do here, we talk about it all. So you're going to be able to hear part of this interview right here on the air, and then part of it only on the Facebook page, facebook.com/93WIBC. That is the one and only Samoa Joe. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you guys. This morning.
And the Kyle Wells, who is our chief wrestling correspondent. I give up my own show, Samoa Joe. I give it up for Kyle Wells.
I see we have a benevolent man here.
Right? And may I say handsome. To allow him to do the interviews, Kyle Wells, wrestler extraordinaire, the WellsMania podcast, all of it. Kyle, take it away.
Well, first and foremost, thank you, Joe, for stopping in. I know you've been on a very hectic travel schedule. You're coming off of the long-distance trip in Melbourne, Australia. By the way, I'm sorry you didn't win. I was rooting for you to win. Tell us a little bit about that trip in Australia and performing in front of 70,000 fans.
I call it just another weekend. It's just something we do. It was great, man. Australia's got a crazy fan base, and it's a rarity we kind of get down under to big shows like that. So to have 70,000 there going crazy and having a pretty good show, it was fun.
Yeah, you and AJ tore down the house. I think you guys had the best match on the card, and like I said, I think
we did too. Let's just be honest here.
I was rooting for you hardcore. I was hoping you'd have the title with you, but I know it's coming soon.
Oh yeah, we're working on that. Don't worry about that.
Now tonight, I love when you guys are you guys are in town. I can always feel it. It's in the air.
It is in the air.
Phil Collins in the air tonight. SmackDown Live at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Tickets are still available. You are going to be in a qualifier match for a World Cup tournament that's going on in Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. Your opponent tonight is Jeff Hardy. How do you prepare for somebody like Jeff Hardy?
Easy, like I do with everybody else. I mean, Jeff, tremendous athlete, very, very decorated, incredible individual, death-defying, does all this crazy stuff. But I find that if I just keep bashing him in the face with my fist repeatedly, in kind of a metronome style, usually I come out on top with Jeff. So, I mean, that's pretty much my strategy for tonight.
And I look forward to a coquina clutch.
Oh, yeah. We'll put him to sleep. We'll get him down. Hey, guys like to fly, but sometimes you gotta throw the anti-air out there. Get him on the ground for a minute.
No, wait. Before we go on, allow a newbie here.
Yes.
The coquina clutch. If Kurt Gerald's were to volunteer, can we try this?
Sure.
Right here, right now.
Yeah.
If Kurt Gerald's would volunteer. No, Millennial Kurt, you will not. You will not volunteer.
No, I've seen this man in action.
You're not going to do it?
No.
Tony, if Joe puts Kurt in the coquina clutch, you're going to need me to finish the show as your producer.
Well, that's all right. That's fine. Now, here's what we're going to do.
A lot of siren bumpers, wacky chicken sounds. It'll be awesome. I think maybe we should do the swap.
Wacky chicken sounds. You have a second career, Samoa Joe. You really do. Your next question.
Let's see. So for anybody out there who's aspiring, I like to ask this question because you're a vet. You're a wily vet, yet you're very spry still in the ring. What advice would you give somebody who's an aspiring wrestler? What would you tell them? Just any advice you'd give them?
I think the biggest one is just learn from other people's mistakes. I think too many of us, kind of learn the hard way ourselves. And if you see somebody else doing something stupid or messing up in a drill or in life, just go, hey, he already made that mistake. How about I might make the same one? So it's a simple rule. It's one that gets you ahead.
And growing up, who was the wrestler that really just caught your eye and you're like, yeah, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life?
I bring up Arn. He's a guy that I really liked as a kid, but. Guys like that, obviously Hogan and all the big stars kind of, late 80s, early 90s kind of growing up, those guys were all, big influence too. So
yeah, you can never go wrong with the enforcer, Arn Anderson.
I want to ask a question because you brought up a good one about how you get into this business. What's the differentiator? Because everybody has seen almost every shtick that's out there. What's the fundamental differentiator that would make you say, okay, that kid's got something?
Honestly, we talk about poise and presence and the it factor and stuff like that. And really that's the biggest part of it is that there's certain guys that can come in and there's a magnetism about them and what they do and how they speak and how they talk and how they address the crowd, the poise that they have in the ring. There's all these little subtle type of cues that kind of come together that make kind of that special performer that has that it. And whether it's look, whether it's presence, whether it's the ability to be a good orator on the mic, it's all these things kind of play in at different levels. And if you have the right combination of them, usually you'll find success in this business.
My very last question. Were you inspired by the movie The Shining during any point in your feud with AJ Styles? I loved the "Oh Wendy." I thought that was brilliant.
I think it was. It definitely what played into it. I think there was a lot of influences, but I'd say that was one of them too. So yeah, I'll go with The Shining. Yeah, I knew. I watched the movie growing up, and there's certain vibes you want to give off, and that Shining vibe's always one that kind of resonates with people. So yeah, a little bit of that in there.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is WWE Superstar and future WWE Champion Samoa Joe. Joe, thank you so much for taking the time to join us, and have fun tonight at Bankers Life Fieldhouse.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you there tonight.
That was my interview with WWE Superstar Samoa Joe. How cool was that? I met Samoa Joe a couple years ago at the Arnold Classic when NXT used to be a part of the Arnold when they would put on shows. And Joe was in NXT during that time. So I got to meet Samoa Joe, a little meet and greet, sign the poster, get a picture taken. But having the opportunity to sit down with Joe and just chit-chat was awesome. Super cool. And I can't say that word enough to describe Joe. He was just a cool dude. And you heard it in the interview. So once again, thank you to Tony Katz for allowing me to come on a show. And thank you to Samoa Joe for taking the time to come in that early, making the media rounds. And hopefully the next time Joe's in town, whatever hotel he's staying at has hot water. I'm just saying. Had a blast, though, at SmackDown Live. Awesome seats. I got to sit with my good brothers from Wrestle With This, Peyton Payne, Anthony Mueller, Adam Mueller. Follow us on Twitter at SmashMouthWWT. Let's see what's going on with Wrestle With This. WellsMania presents It's Time to Wrestle With This. Yes, and most recently, WWT Showcase number 5 took place, and there was a clash of two titans, Mega Mondo and Jacksinn Wrathbone, and I'm being told that Jacksinn Wrathbone is... This can't be true. Jacksinn Wrathbone's actually on the line with me right now? I guess it's true. Joining me right now on episode 8 of WellsMania podcast. It's been a long time coming. I tried to get this guy on one of my episodes before, but Jacksinn Wrathbone, are you really there?
Indeed I am.
Well, first and foremost, you are a hard man to track down, and I appreciate you taking the time to join me on episode 8 of WellsMania podcast on YouTube. Congratulations, by the way, on your mega win over Mega Mondo. Your thoughts on that match?
Well, first of all, it's not that I'm hard to find. It's that I allow myself to be found when I'm ready.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad that you're ready for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, secondly, my thoughts on the match. Well, you see, for months, like I said, Mega Mondo ran his mouth. He kept wanting to get into my business when I had my mind set on other things. You see, I'm only concerned with two things. Eliminating Justin Kyle from the face of the earth and becoming the top dog in Wrestle With This. But Mega Mondo refused to let that happen. He took to social media. He took to any outlet that he could communicate, and he ran his mouth. And I'd had enough. And when it was all said and done, just like I told him and everyone else, I left him lying in the center of the ring. 1, 2, 3.
That you did. And he actually came on episode 7 of WellsMania podcast, and he did what he does best. He hyped up the match. He was mega ready, and then when it all came down to it, he wasn't fully mega ready. And now, Jacksinn Wrathbone, I don't know if you were aware, you were kind of knocked out. You got hit with the Mondo block, and you might not even recall this moment in the match, but the lights turned out. Okay, Mega Mondo had the match won, and then he was going up to the top rope from a mega splash, and then the lights turned out, and then the lights turned back on, and there was Mondo Juice, the container that holds Mondo Juice, in the middle of the ring. We have no idea how that got there because per Mega Mondo's stipulation, the Mondo Juice was banned for this match because time and time again, you have accused him of using that, and that's the only reason why he wins the matches. Well, somebody put the Mondo Juice in the ring. Can you tell the listeners out there, do you have any idea who put the Mondo Juice or who might have put the Mondo Juice in the ring?
Well, first of all, you talk about Mega Mondo hyping up everything. That's all he is hype. He's all style, no substance. Secondly, I did not ask Mega Mondo to make that stipulation. He can bring the Mondo Juice. He can bring the Army. He can bring every single superstar in the WWT locker room out with him. I was going to do the same damn thing no matter what. Now, as far as the lights going off, I am aware, and I have watched the match back. I don't know. And if I did know, I wouldn't tell you anyway. And I wouldn't tell him. I don't really care who else has it out for Mega Mondo. He's not the most well-liked guy in the locker room. So whether he has irritated and gotten under the skin of somebody else and they're playing a mind game with him, a la me, that's his problem, not mine. My eyes are focused on something entirely different. I have moved on from that bearded, sorry excuse.
And we will move forward. I just wanted to get to the bottom of it. I'm sure we will find out who exactly put the Mondo Juice in the ring, but you are right. You did successfully beat Mega Mondo 1, 2, 3, and I'm sure he's already tweeted that he's looking forward to the rematch, and as well as I am too. I'm looking forward to the rematch, but that will be down the road because we shift our attention now. By the way, you're listening to episode 8 of WellsMania podcast on YouTube, and I am joined by telephone by WWT Superstar Jacksinn Wrathbone. Jacksinn Wrathbone, after your victory over Mega Mondo, your next match is a one-on-one match with a guy who you are very familiar with. And I'm sure he's definitely ready for this match. You're going to go to Super Stampede, the next major event from Wrestle with This, and you're taking on Justin Kyle one-on-one. How do you prepare for this match? What's going through your mind with now that Justin Kyle is your opponent for Super Stampede?
You want to ask what's going on in my mind? Ever since he made his silly little return. You see, I recall, and everyone recalls, me telling him to stay away.
This is true. This is true.
I put him in the hospital. He thinks he's some kind of big dog, some kind of alpha. He's a nobody. He's just like Mega Mondo. He's somebody that looks the part, but he can't act the part. He can walk the walk. He can't talk the talk. He can talk the talk, but he can't walk the walk. Now, I may sound like I'm speaking in circles and riddles, and that's because I am. Because I am the only true mystery in that company. And the only thing that's going to be revealed is exactly what I've said for months on end. Justin Kyle will meet his demise at my hands. You see, I did not forget about his return. I did not forget about him spearing me. I did definitely not forget about him almost taking my head clean off. Congratulations, Justin. You got a one-up on me. You left me laying. You left me bleeding. But make no mistake. You wounded me. You didn't kill me. I am the only one that made a mistake so far by wounding you and not killing you. It's a mistake I won't make twice. I am more focused and driven than I have been in my entire career for this match. I promise you, I promise everyone listening to your show, I promise everyone that's watching that night, I'm going to hurt him, and I'm going to hurt him bad.
That is Jacksinn Wrathbone. You can catch Jacksinn Wrathbone versus Justin Kyle at Super Stampede coming this fall. Wrestle with this on YouTube. If you don't know by now, change that. Subscribe to the channel and watch all of the amazing action that comes live from the Smash Mouth Arena. Jacksinn Wrathbone, before I let you go, where can people find you on Twitter? I know you're a very mysterious man and you only show yourself when you want to be seen. But if people do want to tweet at you, I mean, do you even have, I know that you have a Twitter because I've tweeted at you, but do you even get on there? I mean, any last words for the listeners?
Well, you see, you stated it yourself. I am somewhat of an enigma, and I like to keep it that way. But if people wanted to communicate with me, they're welcome to follow me at Jackson's Wrath. Better yet, you can communicate even better with my advocate, Jeremiah Jackson, and you can follow him at JaxJRay, JaxJRay. One of the few people that I do communicate with in this world because he understands me better than anyone else. And if you don't, well, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you, Jacksinn Wrathbone, for taking the time out of your busy, mysterious life to come on the show. And I would wish you best of luck at Super Stampede, but I don't think you need it. So I look forward to seeing you versus Justin Kyle. And hopefully I'll get you back on whenever you're ready to come back on. So thank you for being ready today.
Thank you.
So, yeah, that match is going to be intense. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be killer. And I cannot wait. Super Stampede coming this fall. Subscribe to Wrestle With This on YouTube. Follow Wrestle With This on Twitter at SmashMouth WWT. And tell them WellsMania sent you. Do it right now. Now, speaking of Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter at WellsMania. Do not be afraid to hit that follow button because I think a lot of you out there are. WellsMania is on the rise, all right? I'm telling you, I had Samoa Joe on this episode of WellsMania. Come on now. My star is rising, baby. I'm like a riser in fantasy football. I'm on the waiver wire right now. Scoop me up. Scoop me up right now. I'm telling you to scoop WellsMania up right now before I blow up, and it's already too late, and I'm on somebody else's team. Here's the tie-in. I want to give love to Paul Heyman because I tweeted out a picture of Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Stefon Diggs, his cleats that he wore this past weekend in his game against the Eagles, which, by the way, the Vikings won, and Stefon Diggs went off for 10 receptions, 91 yards, scoring me 21.6 PPR points in my fantasy league. And I got the dub as well, so I love you, Stefon Diggs. You keep balling out, you hear? And keep wearing wrestling-themed cleats because these cleats are sick. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to WellsMania on the Twitter, click on media, scroll down a little bit, and you'll see my tweet from October 7th. I said, Stefon Diggs is hardcore, in all caps. Check out his cleats that he will be wearing later today, hashtag ECW, because on these cleats, they're Adidas-themed cleats, and they got the purple logo, but it says Diggs. And then on one side, it's got ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling, the logo. It's so awesome. And then on the other side of the cleat, it's got the Hardcore Championship title. The ECW Hardcore Championship title. And it's just phenomenal artwork. So shout out to Paul Heyman because he retweeted that. And this tweet, as of right now, has been shared or retweeted 538 times. 40 people have commented on the tweet, and 1.3 thousand people have hearted or liked the tweet. So that's awesome. Great exposure for WellsMania, and I appreciate that, Paul Heyman. And I gained a few followers from that retweet, so some of you aren't afraid to hit the follow button after all. Now, what I've been doing on the past couple episodes of WellsMania podcast on YouTube is I have been educating those out there on Basic Wrestlingnomics, which is Basic Wrestlenomics. This is Wrestlingnomics, whatever I'm calling it. So earlier in the week, if you don't know, I am a producer at 93 WIBC. That's 93.1 on your radio dial. I am a producer, and right now I'm currently producing the #1 rated afternoon drive in Indy, the Hammer and Nigel show. Follow them on Twitter, by the way, at Hammer and Nigel. Give them a petty follow. Tell them WellsMania sent you. So earlier in the week, Hammer, by the way, has been in Las Vegas. So Rob Kendall, who's also a big wrestling fan, has been filling in for Hammer. So during a break, I'm talking to Rob and Nigel, and both of them are ignoring me. Like, I don't know what they were doing, but they were not listening to anything that I was saying. So I stand up and I say, hey, stop no-selling me. Listen to me when I'm talking. And Nigel looks up and he goes, what's no-sell mean? So on this episode of WellsMania podcast, Basic Wrestlingnomics, let's do it. So, you want to learn wrestling? Basic Wrestlingnomics. This is Basic Wrestlingnomics. Basic Wrestlingnomics. WellsMania's about to educate you. All right, Nigel Liskowski, one half of the WIBC Tag Team Champions, the Hammer and Nigel Show. No sell is a phrase in the wrestling world when you are fighting your opponent, punching them, kicking them, hitting them, and they aren't reacting to it at all. They just stand there. They're not selling for you. Therefore, no sell. So the other day in the studio when I was talking to you and you weren't paying attention to me, you weren't acknowledging me, you essentially were no selling me. Word life. So no sell means when you pretty much just aren't doing what you should be doing. You should be selling the moves. You should be listening to your coworkers. But if you're not listening to your coworkers and you're not selling the moves, you're no selling. So that is the Basic Wrestlingnomics term phrase of this episode of WellsMania podcast. Now, we've got a big event coming up this weekend on the independent circuit. I'm talking about Bizarro Lucha. Bizarro Lucha, the burlesque punk rock lucha libre variety show, which makes its debut October 14th in Indianapolis, Indiana, at the Indiana City Brewing Company. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite. I've already got my tickets. I'm beyond ready for this because I love supporting local wrestling. I'm a local wrestler that's on the rise. People might not know who I am, but it's because of people like me who put over others and sell them. You get noticed. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm trying to help out Trip Cassidy. Trip Cassidy, the Lucha Boogeyman. Follow him on Twitter at Trip Cassidy. That's TripCassidy. Trip was going to be on this episode of WellsMania podcast, but he's a very busy man. He's your imaginary friend, and he's the Mars Hill Monster, the Lucha Boogeyman. Trip Cassidy. He's going to have a match this Sunday, and he's taking on Shotzi Blackheart. Yeah, Shotzi Blackheart. And if you don't know who Shotzi Blackheart is, follow her on Twitter at Shotzi Black. That's SHOTZI BLACK, Shotzi Black. Shotzi Blackheart is a pro wrestler, aka the Pizza Cat, a ballsy, badass, filthy Filipino, and she's got bigger nards than Trip Cassidy, and I will be sure to yell that loud and proud. I will stand up during their match and yell at the top of my lungs, Shotzi's got nards that are bigger than Trip Cassidy's. I'm going to yell that over and over again during their match. It's going to be fun. And I'm going to buy Shotzi's shirt. And you should too. Shotzi Blackheart. Follow her on Twitter. So Bizarro Lucha. I'm really looking forward to this show. This show is called Hatching the Egg. And it's got wrestlers on there that you might not know of. But if you go, you'll be introduced to them. You know, Calvin Tankman, MJF. We got Nick Iggy, Sonny Kiss, just to name a few. But there's one guy in particular that I'm definitely looking forward to seeing making his debut in the wrestling ring. Justin Kyle! Yes, that's right. The same Justin Kyle that's going to face Jacksinn Wrathbone at Super Stampede is going to make his independent wrestling debut on Bizarro Lucha. Justin Kyle. That is Kill Justin Kyle on Twitter. Follow him. Hashtag Let's Lucha. Bizarro Lucha. This Sunday, 24 Shelby Street, Indianapolis, Indiana, 7 p.m. Doors open, 7:30 p.m. bell time. Hatching the Egg, the burlesque punk rock lucha libre variety show. You do not want to miss that. I'm ready. I'm ready. If you couldn't tell, I'm ready. I will be there. And if you see me, don't be afraid to come up to me and say hey and introduce yourself because, well, I'm pretty noticeable with the hair, head sleeve. And like I said, I'll be wearing Shotzi Blackheart's Shotzi's Got Nards t-shirt, which glows in the dark, by the way. So I'm pretty excited about that. Bizarro Lucha. I'll see you there. That's right. Next Tuesday, SmackDown 1000, Washington, D.C. You are very lucky to be hosting the 1000th episode of SmackDown. And I'm excited because this show is going to be action-packed. From the beginning to the end, there's going to be a lot of familiar faces making their returns. And, well, let me just read the lineup for next Tuesday. Shall we? We shall. The Undertaker and Kane, they make their return to SmackDown. Evolution reunites. That's Triple H, Randy Orton, Batista, and WWE Hall of Famer, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Woo! Evolution. Cannot wait to see that. Rey Mysterio returns to face WWE United States Champion Shinsuke Nakamura in a non-titled WWE World Cup qualifier match. We're going to see Rey Mysterio versus Shinsuke Nakamura? Are you kidding me? That's like a dream match come true. And guess what? We're going to get it. We're going to see it, and I think that Rey Mysterio is going to beat Shinsuke Nakamura to qualify for that World Cup tournament in Saudi Arabia. Michelle McCool, Tori Wilson, Vicky Guerrero, and WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long, player, holla, holla, holla. They return. Plus, Here are some advertised matches. Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles will take on The Miz and Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, friend of the WellsMania podcast. You heard him earlier in this episode. He'll be in tag team action. Asuka, Naomi, and Charlotte Flair will take on the Iconics and SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch. Oh, yeah. Edge will return for a special edition of The Cutting Edge, the Rated R Superstar. Tony Chimmel's got to be there, right? Tony Chimmel has got to be there to introduce Edge. Now, that's everything that's been announced. I'm sure more things will be announced after this episode of WellsMania podcast. So I tweeted out, I asked you, the people, the WellsManiacs, brother. I asked you guys, what are you excited for? What do you think's going to happen at SmackDown 1000? Only a few of you are participating in my tweets when I'm trying to engage. And listen, I appreciate those that do. Superfan Beardy, the first one to respond, my loyal fan from across the pond, he said, I can't wait to see Ray return for SmackDown 1000. Going to be awesome. Plus, Evolution reunites once again. It's defo going to be one for the ages. Hashtag subscribe to WellsMania podcast. It's lit. Definitely worth listening to. Thank you, Beardy. I appreciate that. Cody Oliphant, I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right, at grits_lover. He says, I want the SmackDown fist. I do too, bro. Get the old SmackDown fist Titantron, have that up there, and have that fist come flying out and fireworks and pyro. We got pyro at Super Showdown, so hopefully they save some money in the budget and we get some pyro in the fist at SmackDown 1000. I really like that idea. Thank you, Cody. I appreciate you. Mark Dykton, good brother Mark Dykton. That's at Mark Dykton on Twitter. Mark is spelled with a C. Do you think The Rock shows up and any other surprises? The Rock's got to be there, right? And I don't expect them to advertise that at all. I don't. Why would you? Surprise everybody. Give us the element of surprise. When The Rock comes out, I want that legit pop. Like the, oh my God, I didn't know he was going to be here pop. And now I need a new pair of pants because I just pissed myself kind of pop. You know what I'm saying? But I tell you one thing that I'm really looking forward to. And, well, I hope we hear this.
So, you think you're untouchable?
Word life. This is Basic Thuganomics. This is Basic Thuganomics. Word life. I'm untouchable, but I'm forcing you to feel me. Word life. Yeah. This is Basic. John Cena coming out. Word life. Decked out in Basic Thuganomics, wearing a Chris Webber Washington Bullets throwback jersey, or a Michael Jordan Wizards jersey for the hometown crowd there in DC. But if John Cena Basic Thuganomics comes out next Tuesday, it will be one of the biggest markout moments that I'll ever have in my life. If you know me, and I know you know me, you know that I love John Cena. And I've been down with John Cena since OVW. So John Cena, Word Life, Basic Thuganomics. It has to happen. Has to happen. And Kurt Gerald Jr., he also wants to see it happen, but he wants to see John Cena Rock stare down at some point. How cool would it be if they did and then they hugged, like they embraced, you know? Kind of break kayfabe, break character. That'd be pretty cool, right? I think so. But Cena definitely needs to come out there and he needs to freestyle rap and roast somebody. That would totally... Man, that would be the icing on the cake for SmackDown 1000. So thank you very much, Beardy. Thank you very much, Cody. Thank you very much, Mark. And thank you very much, Kurt Gerald's Jr., good brother, for tweeting me your SmackDown 1000 tweets. And if if you tweeted after this episode aired, still tweet at me. Let me know what you think. I want to know what you're excited for SmackDown 1000 because it's going to be a fun show. Can't wait. This is a little karaoke version. So hopefully I don't get blocked for using this. But thank you all so much for tuning in to episode 8 of WellsMania podcast on YouTube. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at WellsMania. Let me know what you thought of my interview with Samoa Joe. A huge shout out to WWE Superstar Samoa Joe for taking the time to sit down with me and got to put it on episode 8 of WellsMania podcast, so that's really awesome. And thank you again to Jacksinn Wrathbone for joining me by phone. Megamondo's out for revenge, Wrathbone. Remember that. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Be sure to enjoy WWE SmackDown 1000. But sooner than that, Bizarro Lucha this Sunday, downtown Indianapolis on Shelby Street. I'll be there. You should be there too. And of course, go to the Stevie Nicks concert. Tweet at Stevie Nicks. Tell her WellsMania sent you. Until next episode. And I hope we all live to see the 7 wonders. Take care and dominate the day.